Imagine this. A quiet afternoon in a small village. You know, the usual sounds, maybe some kids playing, life just ticking along. Normal. And then suddenly, completely out of nowhere, that quiet is just shattered. Not a distant rumble, no. A huge, deafening roar. One explosion, then another. Dozens of them. The air itself is shaking. You see these massive orange fireballs just erupting into the sky. It's like day turns into this terrifying twilight for a moment. Windows breaking for miles. Pieces of metal flying through the air, landing hundreds of meters away. Sounds like a movie scene, right? But this was terrifyingly real for the people in Rajau Parsur village, Bareilly district, Uttar Pradesh. This happened on Monday afternoon, March 24th, 2025. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going deep into this incredibly intense incident at the Mahalaxmi Indane Gas Agency. Our goal here isn't just to list what happened. We want to really unpack the sequence of events, how it escalated so fast, and understand the sheer scale of it all, but also, crucially, explore how incredibly fortunate the outcome was, considering the danger. We're looking at the what, the how, the why, and the, frankly, miraculous survival.
Absolutely. And this event, it's fascinating because while the visuals are just devastating, the story itself is almost a paradox.
Yeah.
There are some really surprising complexities here. You know, vulnerabilities in everyday things, the power locked inside common materials, and also the human response. It's more than just a dramatic event. There are real lessons here about risk and vigilance.
So let's go back to that Monday afternoon. Just a regular day, maybe a bit warm, routine, until it wasn't. And what's really interesting from the reports is where the fire actually started. It wasn't inside the agency building itself, which, you know, you might assume.
Right, that's a key detail.
The whole thing kicked off with a truck, a heavily loaded truck. We're talking somewhere between, 345 and 400 LPG cylinders packed onto it, according to our sources.
Yeah, a huge number. Basically a mobile fuel depot.
And it was parked right near the gas agency. But the initial spark, the fire itself, wasn't even among the cylinders at first. It started in the truck's cabin, the driver's area.
And this is where things escalate incredibly quickly. It's amazing how fast a seemingly small fire in the cabin just blew up. You have a spark, maybe hitting upholstery, maybe some fuel vapor.
Yeah.
The cabin catches fire, but then that fire reaches the cylinders. And that's the critical point. The heat starts building pressure inside those tanks, immense pressure, way beyond what they're designed for. And that can lead to a BLEV.
A BLAV?
Boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion.
Yeah.
Basically, the superheated liquid gas inside flashes instantly into vapor when the tank ruptures. It expands thousands of times, creating a massive fireball and shockwave. And each blast throws off enough heat and shrapnel to set off the next cylinder and the next, like terrifying dominoes.
And the speed is just, it's hard to grasp. Reports say that within just 30 seconds, half a minute, nearly 40 cylinders exploded.
40 blasts.
40, think about the energy release. Huge fireballs, powerful shockwaves spreading out.
Exactly. Those shockwaves are walls of compressed air moving incredibly fast, breaking windows, shaking buildings miles away.
It's almost impossible to really picture that kind of power unleashed so quickly.
And if you think about the bigger picture, it really drives home the destructive potential we live alongside. You've got pieces of these cylinders, shrapnel, essentially flying up to 500 meters.
Half a kilometer.
Right, 5 football fields. And the sound, heard up to 3 kilometers away.
Wow.
It tells you just how much energy is stored in something as common as a cooking gas cylinder, and why things like proper handling and potential failures are so vital to understand.
Which leads to that crucial question for you, the listener. What's it like for someone nearby, caught completely off guard by this? You're just walking by maybe, and suddenly you're in the middle of this. The danger in those first seconds must be immense.
Oh, absolutely. The first thing is sensory overload. The noise, the heat, the sight of it all. And pure instinct kicks in. Self-preservation. Your brain's trying to figure out what's happening while also screaming, "Get out!"
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Every split second counts.
Okay, so that brings us to what might be the most incredible part of this whole story. The people. Given everything we've just described, the scale, the explosions, the debris, you'd expect the worst, a terrible human cost.
You really would.
But here's the fact, confirmed by the reports. Only 3 people were actually on site when it all erupted. Just 3. The agency watchman, his wife, and the driver of the truck. That's it.
Just those 3. In the direct line of fire.
But somehow, they all escaped. No injuries reported, no casualties.
It's truly remarkable. And it begs the question, how? How did they manage that?
Right.
It wasn't just luck, though luck must have played a part. Think about the speed 40 explosions in 30 seconds. Their survival probably came down to seeing that very first sign of trouble The smoke, maybe, or the initial flames in the cab.
Those first few seconds?
Exactly. That tiny window gave them just enough time to react, to get some distance before the chain reaction really took hold. Maybe the truck's position offered some brief cover, or a building nearby shielded them from the first blast. Or, yes, maybe it was just sheer luck with where the shrapnel flew. But it shows how immediate action in those first moments can be life-saving.
It's an unbelievable outcome. Really underscores how fortunate they were and, like you said, how quickly they must have moved. A potential tragedy avoided right at ground zero. It really makes you appreciate those crucial first seconds in any emergency. So, okay, chaos erupting, explosions, fireballs, these three people having this incredibly narrow escape. What about the wider response? How did the authorities, the community, deal with this rapidly unfolding disaster?
Well, this is where you see the emergency systems kick in and also the community. It's quite fascinating, actually. Police, fire brigades, they were alerted probably by the sheer noise and the smoke plume and rushed there pretty fast.
Must have been incredibly dangerous approaching that scene.
Extremely. With explosions still happening, debris flying. Their first job wouldn't be direct attack. It's about setting up a safe perimeter, keeping people away, and crucially, getting water on the unexploded cylinders from a distance.
To cool them down.
Exactly. Cool them to stop the pressure building, stop them reaching that critical point for a BLEV, break the chain reaction. And reports mention the locals played a big part too, helping guide emergency crews, maybe assisting with initial evacuations. That community help is often vital.
Right.
And it was this combined effort, professionals and locals, that eventually got the fire under control. Took nearly 2 to 2.5 hours.
That's a long time battling something that intense.
It shows real determination and careful risk management under extreme pressure.
And besides just fighting the fire, the authorities were thinking ahead, right? Safety measures?
Yes, very proactive. They quickly started evacuating nearby residents. They understood the risk wasn't just the fire, but potential further explosions or toxic fumes spreading. Get people out of the danger zone.
Smart move, preventing further tragedy.
Definitely. And while it's fantastic, truly amazing, that no one was killed or injured, we should acknowledge there was damage. Nearby properties, some fields, damaged by debris by the force of the blasts.
A reminder of the power involved.
Precisely. It reinforces how lucky that outcome was. Even with the property damage, it could have been so much worse.
So, looking at the response, what does this tell us about handling these kinds of emergencies? About being prepared?
Well, it highlights a few key things. The need for rapid, coordinated action from fire services. The importance of smart risk assessment, knowing when to attack directly, when to cool from a distance, when to evacuate. And the real value of community involvement. It's not just about the professionals, it's a combined effort. Shows resilience.
Okay, so we've looked at the event, the incredible escape, the response. Now, the big question. The why. How did this whole devastating sequence actually start? Let's unpack what the initial investigations are suggesting.
Right. The probable cause, according to those initial findings, points towards an electrical short circuit.
A short circuit? Where?
In the truck's cabin. Not among the cylinders initially, but in the driver's area. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really highlights a vulnerability we see in lots of machinery. You know, faulty wiring, maybe wires rubbing together, corrosion. Electricity takes the wrong path, generates intense heat.
And in a confined truck cabin.
Exactly. It can easily melt insulation, ignite seats, upholstery, maybe even fuel vapors. And with hundreds of LPG cylinders right there, that small electrical fault becomes the ignition source for a massive catastrophe.
Wow. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, how a small failure in one system can cascade into something enormous when flammable materials are involved.
A very potent reminder.
And of course, this is the initial assessment. They've launched a detailed probe to be absolutely sure. These first findings are vital, but the full investigation might uncover even more specific details. Help prevent it happening again.
That's the goal, yes. Learning from it.
So let's just quickly recap this deep dive. We've covered the unbelievable speed and scale of the fire at the Mahalaxmi Agency. A short circuit in a truck triggering a chain reaction, almost 40 cylinders exploding in just 30 seconds.
Astonishing speed.
Then the miraculous escape. Just 3 people on site, the watchman, his wife, the driver, and all walked away unharmed. Incredible.
Truly fortunate.
We saw the swift, effective response. Firefighters, police, locals working together, bringing that inferno under control over a couple of hours.
A huge collaborative effort.
And we looked at the probable cause, that short circuit in the truck cabin, highlighting how a seemingly small fault can ignite disaster.
Which brings us to a really important thought, I think. for all of us. When we deal with potent materials like LPG, whether it's transport, storage, or even just having a cylinder at home,
Hmm.
how aware are we, really? Aware of the small details, the potential points of failure, like vehicle maintenance, understanding heat and pressure,
Mm.
the things that can trigger immense danger.
Mm.
This isn't just one incident in one village. It's a lesson about constant vigilance, about safety protocols, about being prepared, not just for big industrial risks, but the small vulnerabilities all around us.
That's a really powerful takeaway. Makes you think about all the